Welcome back into Grand Slam Sports. My name, Jay Sanj, alongside Charles Foster and Jackson Strasburger over at the desk. Guys, we begin today talking about the NFC North and the shakeup that's happened so far in the NFC North. The Chicago Bears lead the division right now at 9-3 with the Packers and Lions not too far behind. How about the Bears so far, Charles?
Bears are looking good right now, and we've seen this Ben Johnson offense and how it's kind of taken this team to another level. And I think I really like the way that the Bears have looked. I think Caleb Williams is starting to kind of find his footing, and I think, I'm more of a fan of the Packers in this division, but I think that the Bears are starting to kind of figure it out, and they look a lot better than they have in past years.
Yeah, this Bears team to me is not anything special. They're averaging 26.1 points a game and allowing 25. They're 6-1 in one-score games. They are not the best team in this division. They are not the best team in the division. They are not the best team in the NFC. They're not the best team in the league. Well, they'll if they make the playoffs, they're a first-round exit.
Listen, Jackson, I think the Bears, they have gotten significantly better under Ben Johnson. 9-3, they've won 5 games in a row, but they have a tough first go coming up. They had the Packers twice still, and I think that's going to lose them this division. I think the Packers are going to beat them both times in these 2 games in next week and in week 18. The Packers, I think this is their division to lose, but my worry currently concerns with the Lions. The Lions, are 8-5. They won last night, but they're sitting outside of a playoff spot currently. They have a long road ahead of them to get back in that playoff spot with the NFC being as stacked as it is.
Yeah, this Lions team is one of those teams that I think has fallen in the issue of losing a lot of their staff in the offseason. It took them a while to kind of overcome that. They're starting to look a little bit better. They looked really good last night, and I think that's kind of what we're starting to see. This top of the NFC North is going to be very competitive, and I think this Bears-Packers, these 2 games are going to be what really separates these 2 teams, because if the Packers take both games, or if the Bears take both games, then it will completely take the other team out of contention, in my opinion, and then that's where the Lions slip in. If these 2 teams split, I think the Lions are going to struggle a lot more trying to find that top spot in the division.
I definitely agree. I don't think this team's going to win the division. Right now, they're the first team out of the playoffs, but a big win against the Cowboys last night. The Lions looked fantastic. A hurt Amon-Ra St. Brown. Jameson Williams was able to step up. Jahmyr Gibbs had one of the best games we've seen from a running back this season. David Montgomery's on that team as well. He's been fantastic getting into the end zone, getting those second kind of touches. This Lions team still has a chance to make the playoffs and then make a run when they get there. They're getting hot at the right time. That's what you need to do.
But now, guys, for the Green Bay Packers, they've won 3 in a row now after that 5-3-1 start. They're finding the footing right now. Jordan Love is being that quarterback that we expected him to be. The Packers team is figuring it out right now. Do you see them as a possible favorite in the NFC?
Not in the NFC overall. In the NFC North, I do. I think this Packers team struggled with a lot of their nuances, some of the new pieces they brought in. They struggled to find their offensive rhythm, and they're starting to figure that out more. And this has kind of been the case with a lot of the teams in the NFC North is we see 3 teams that had a lot of turnaround in the offseason that turn things around as they slowly start to get throughout the season. It was that learning curve, and I think that the Bears were the first team to figure that out, and that's why they're winning right now. But you see whenever they go against Green Bay, I think that's going to be the test. Green Bay's got some hard games coming up, though. 2 Chicago games and a Denver and a hot Baltimore team. That'll be what I think is really interesting on if Green Bay can actually show themselves as a competitor. If they win those games, then I think, NFC is theirs to lose.
Yeah, I do agree that the Packers could be the best team. You mentioned their hard schedule, but with this team, their defense has been outstanding throughout the entire season. We look at they blitz about 7 points less than the league average is, and they still pressure the quarterback about 36% of the time. They're getting the quarterback just by sending 4. Because of this, how strong this defense is, now their offense is finding their rhythm. Another team just getting hot at the right time. I can definitely see them winning this division, especially if they beat the Bears once. I can see them taking this easily.
Well, the Bears, their last NFC title in the North Division was in 2018. They're a few wins away from doing that again this season. Let's turn to a team, though, who is currently struggling in their division, but got the win last week over Baltimore and Joe Burrow's return. The Bengals get the win. They're 4-8. They're only 2 games behind the division, behind a 6-6 Steelers squad, and the Ravens who are there as well. But Joe Burrow, guys, played significantly well in his return.
And we talk about it. I think one of the things that I said most whenever Joe Burrow was scheduled to return is, well, Joe Burrow doesn't play defense. That's been the Bengals' real issue. Well, apparently he does, because the Bengals' defense has just stepped up ever since Joe Burrow's been on the field. I mean, they only allowed 14 points in their last game against a decent Baltimore team. And now we're starting to see, like you said, the AFC North is not very good. So the Bengals have that opportunity to slip in, and if they slip in, Zach Taylor's going to get more years because he always finds a way to not get fired. And I think that's been the issue right now is the Bengals are not going anywhere as long as Zach Taylor is their head coach. And I stand by that. But with Joe Burrow back, though, he's going to make him look a lot better.
Yeah, this Bengals team the other night looked fantastic. You saw Joe Burrow go 261 yards off 52 completion percentage, 2 touchdowns, no picks. He comes back of a big injury. Nobody knew. I mean, I saw analysts saying Joe Burrow's not going to be Joe Burrow. He's not going to be this kind of great quarterback we've used to seeing. He came out there and he balled out. He made this Bengals offense look like what this Bengals offense is supposed to look like. And then their defense stepped up. He's a leader. He leads this team. That's the most important part in a quarterback. Exactly. I think this Bengals team has a chance to make it the division since nobody else is going to win. They're hot right now. And again, getting hot at the right time, that's what that's what helps you out.
My thing for Burrow is, can he stay healthy? We've seen injury problems these last few seasons, but looking at their schedule, they play at Buffalo this weekend and then back home against Baltimore. You win those 2 games, you're right back in the thick of things in the AFC.
And you look at the back end of that schedule, it has cupcake written all over it. You have Miami, you have Arizona, you have Cleveland. Those are 3 games that they should win by multiple touchdowns. And that's the thing. You beat these 2 hard tests while you're hot, and then you have smooth sailing for the rest of the season. The only issue I have with the Bengals is their defense. They had a stretch over a month where they were giving up over 40 points a game. That's not going to win you football games in any league. So if you think that you're going to come into the AFC North, a division that is super tough, not competitive-wise, but play-wise, and allow 40 points and be okay, you're out of your mind.
100%. And then this Bills game that we're going to see this Sunday, that's such a big game, and I don't think this defense is going to be able to stop Josh Allen, to be able to slow this Bills team down. That's going to really hurt their chance of winning this division.
Well, Burrow versus Josh Allen on Sunday, a big game in the AFC for both of these teams. The Bills are still fighting right now for a playoff spot in the division in the AFC East, so we'll see how that one turns out. Heading back to the NFC now, and a receiver in Davante Adams, who this guy is a touchdown machine so far. 14 touchdowns, that leads the league for reception touchdowns. This guy has been absolutely balling out for the Rams with Matthew Stafford.
Davante Adams and this team they're my NFC favorites. This is why I can't have the Packers as number 1 in the NFC. I love this Rams team. Their defense has figured it out. They've had a cornerback core that on paper is not impressive, but they've come out and they have looked phenomenal this year. Their receiving core is amazing. Matt Stafford's an MVP candidate. I love the Rams.
It seems like whatever they have defensively, they're good. It doesn't matter what kind of roster they have. Obviously, they had, back in the day, they had Aaron Donald and all of them, but still, the roster isn't exactly great defensively on paper, but they're playing well every time, game in, game out.
Yeah, you take players like Forbes and Durant who have had really good seasons. That, I think, is what's really turned them into this team. Now we look at Davante Adams. Jackson, what about him has been so impressive throughout the season?
Right now he's on pace to be 3rd in a single season all-time receiving touchdown record, and it's been how he's been used. I mean, you look at his stats, he does not have a lot of yards. 689 yards, but 14 touchdowns. He's been a red zone threat. He's bigger than everybody. He's also 32, so his speed has kind of gone away, which is a big part of his game, the route running, the speed, the able to get open. But now he's just beating cornerbacks over the top. He's playing like one of the best receivers in the red zone right now, and he's 32 years old. He could go down as a top 10 wide receiver, in my opinion.
I could see it, but how much of this is Matthew Stafford delivering a perfect place ball in the end zone?
Matthew Stafford plays really good in the red zone. That's been one of the things that we have seen as advertised, and Davante Adams has become that red zone threat for him. I mean, if you remember some of the Galladay Stafford days, I mean, he always found him in the end zone, and that's what it looks like now, is you need that red zone threat. You need that person that whenever you have 10 yards to go, who's going to get open no matter who's on him. That's been Davante Adams, and I think that has been what has been so influential, not only for Stafford's MVP campaign, but also Davante Adams, solidifying himself as, like we mentioned, one of the best receivers to ever do it.
He's becoming almost underrated at this point, I feel like. Nobody talks about Davante Adams as much as they talk about some of these other wide receivers who are going on, like somebody like a Randy Moss, like a Jerry Rice. He is 2. Right now, he would pass himself to put himself. He's already 3rd in the all-time single-season reception touchdown leader, and he would pass himself to be behind. So you'd have 2 of the top 10 single-season touchdowns.
You also have Puka Nacua alongside Adams. It's just a great receiver core. But the Rams, losing to the Panthers this past weekend, kind of a game where you wonder, are the Rams truly a competitor in the NFC?
I mean, the Rams are no slouches, though. And I feel like, the Panthers are no slouches. I feel like people have, they see the name Panthers and they think that they're horrible. Mind you, this Panthers team is 500. I mean, this Panthers team is not bad. They've figured things out. So a loss to the Panthers, while a little bit terrifying, is not as bad as losing to them maybe last year or 2 years ago. I'm not too worried if I was the Rams.
Rams still leading the NFC West. Them and Seattle are having a game come up. That would be a big game in the NFC West in the grand scheme of things. But we're going to get into the NBA next. Giannis on the move. We'll talk about that next on Grand Slam. The Bucks are in a free fall, 10-13, and now Giannis is hurt and maybe on the move. Guys, Giannis, one of the top NBA players, multiple MVPs. This guy has been kind of wondering maybe should he leave Milwaukee, should he head somewhere else and compete somewhere else. The Bucks not exactly building a great team around him. Giannis, should he move?
I'm going to sit here and I'm going to explain something to the NBA owners out there. There are so many NBA owners and GMs that want to build a team around one superstar player. It worked with Steph Curry. Why can't it work for everyone else? The 1 year Steph Curry did not play, they were the worst team in the league. This does not work. Giannis Antetokounmpo, number one, is not Steph Curry, but number two, he's not able to stay as healthy as Steph Curry was. And this is no bashing on Antetokounmpo, but this is the flawed system that we've seen with the Bucks. They keep on trying to build around Giannis just for him to get hurt midway through the year, and then they suck. And then they come back, and then they suck. And it's just been this over-ending cycle of them just not being able to figure it out. And that's been what I think is the reason that Giannis wants to get paired up with another star and go win something. Because if he is hurt, if he is struggling, if he can't get the shot going, you have someone else to take the load off.
In the 1 year that Giannis was matched up with some stars, you can say he was with Chris Middleton. You can say he was with Drew Holiday. You can say Bobby Portis was even on that team at the end of his prime, but he was still good. This team... That's a team that won a championship. That's a team that looked like the best team in the league by far. And it's because Giannis would get stopped with the wall that the Celtics made and then every other team started to use. And then he would pass it out, and then he'd have a shooter. Then he'd have Drew Holiday playing great defense. Then he'd have Bobby Portis in the corner able to shoot a three. He could have a team around him that helped him win that championship. It wasn't just Giannis. And now the Bucks are just giving him who knows on his team. It's just the Giannis show and friends.
I mean, Jackson, you look at his roster. Currently, Kevin Porter Jr., Ryan Rollins, A.J. Green, him, and Miles Turner is that starting lineup. Not exactly a great team. They have some depth pieces, but there's not that second star. I mean, we've seen the emergence of Ryan Rollins, but, A.J. Green is not a starter in the NBA. I
mean, you take a look, and the reason that people are saying that he's upset is because they let go of Dame. Mm-hmm. That was the star. He was happy. They let go of Chris Middleton, and anyone that says Chris Middleton is not a star can meet me outside because Chris Middleton was a star. He was part of the reason that this team won a championship. And now we're looking at this, like you said, it is Giannis and friends. So now let's play our favorite game as talking heads and get to talk. Where does Giannis go to? Jace, I start with you. What is your ideal destination, and what does that trade package look like?
I've been back and forth for a little bit about who we should go to. I have a few teams written down. My top one, though, is going to be the Spurs. This sounds terrifying. Pairing him with Victor Wembanyama would be absolutely insane. Imagine that duo of Giannis and Victor Wembanyama. And they have the picks, they have the youth that they can trade for. I mean, it'll take multiple first-round picks and a few of their younger guys, but they have plenty of guards they can just send to Milwaukee in return. They have plenty to trade to Milwaukee to get Giannis.
Jackson, over to you.
I was thinking about the Spurs, and I like that. I do like the two bigs. I like De'Aaron Fox coming off a pick and roll from either one of those two bigs. That just seems scary. But another point guard that I want to see come off a pick and roll with Giannis is Cade Cunningham. Him and the Pistons, I feel like something the Pistons need is another superstar to go with Cade Cunningham. That just, things like that's a team would match up well. Who do they send? They have picks, they have cash, they have some players. They can maybe Durant go in a package back because you just center for a center. But I can see the Pistons. I think that works well.
First thing I'm going to say, I love the Spurs. I think the Spurs are the most realistic because they have the most to send. I've seen the Warriors. I love the idea of giving Steph that kind of final hoorah. I don't like the Pistons because either you pair them up with Durant, neither one of them are going to be able to shoot. You trade Durant, who's having the best season of his career and is looking like he could be your franchise big, while you're already one of the best teams in the East. And if anyone says the Knicks, I've seen the Knicks floating around. Absolutely not.
Why not? Why not?
Because they would have to end up, number one, what would they give up? They have all old pieces. They have no draft capital that
You
they
can
can
say
give
Karl
up.
Anthony Towns. I mean, you can
And
somehow, some way
but
find
why
some-
would the Bucks take that? Why would the Bucks take
Maybe it's their
another
only offer.
aging
Maybe it's their
superstar?
only
They
offer.
want youth. And they would send him to an Eastern Conference rival. Would they just have to deal with Giannis Antetokounmpo for the rest of their lives? Why would they do that? I'm sending him away from as far away as possible. I'm sending him to the Spurs. I don't care how scary it is. At least you only play him 2 times a year if you make it to the finals.
And I'm with Charles on this. I do not think the Knicks make sense. Because where do you put him on this team, too? Where does he start? Does he take the center spot? Then you kind of play small for a center, and then you have Karl Anthony Towns at your 4. This team just doesn't fit. It doesn't fit. It just doesn't make sense.
Well, you know, you look at Giannis. Giannis wants to go to New York. If he wants out, he's going to go to New York. He's going to try to force his way to go to the Knicks because Giannis wants to go there. And so do the Bucks then honor that? You know, being the legend that he is in Milwaukee, do they honor that want?
And I think that could be, you know, a topic of debate here, but the Bucks are not going to screw themselves over just because Giannis wants them to. I mean, obviously, they haven't done Giannis much justice in the past few years, so obviously they don't care too much about what he thinks. And we've seen this, you know, the Knicks, like we said, they don't have anything to give. The Spurs have mounds of draft picks.
Mm-hmm.
They have way too many guards for their own good. This is where the Bucks can actually get a package. What are the Knicks going to give? Pacome Dadier? I mean, no one. That was their last first-round pick that actually looked decent, and he barely even plays. The Knicks don't have the capital. They would have to give up Karl Anthony Towns. Karl Anthony Towns is another aging star that can't do it on his own, and the Bucks would just be right back at square one. There's no reason on God's green earth for the Bucks to make a move with the Knicks.
Well, let's flip things over to LA and the Clippers, who surprisingly released Chris Paul midway through his retirement tour. Are we serious, guys? Come on.
Jackson, I'm going to let you start because I know Jackson was as passionate as I was, but I know he might be a little bit more.
Can you explain to me, you are a franchise player, you are the best player in this team's history, I would say by far. I don't know who you would put second. And you're just going to release him? He's going to be in your rafters in a couple months. He's going to be a hero in LA as a Clipper. He's going to be remembered. That number 3 white and blue jersey that is so memorable and iconic, and you just let him walk. Not even let him, you just give him up on his last year. This is supposed to be a fun. He's going to go away and leave with this team, retire, go walk in front of the sunset, and then bye, go.
Lob City is the only reason anyone our age has ever watched a Clippers basketball game. Let's be honest. DeAndre Jordan, Blake Griffin, and Chris Paul are the best Los Angeles Clippers of all time. Mm-hmm. They are the first Los Angeles Clippers to get their jerseys retired. He wanted to do his farewell tour with you. He did not care about a ring. He knew y'all sucked, and he still went there. He wanted to do his farewell tour with y'all, and he still released him. It's not like you guys are going to get any better. The Clippers are horrible. James Harden is the only thing stopping us from the Thunder being the best team ever, and you release Chris Paul. Why? At 3:30 in the morning on the other side of the country?
According to Coach Ty Lue, it wasn't a good fit. Are we serious? Not a good fit for your guy who's a legend there, for a guy who deserves a retirement tour with